I am finally recording, and I am playing this music. Well, hi there. Happy Thursday. It is February the 6th, 2020, and I'm Eric, talking at you once again from beautiful Kelowna, British Columbia, Canada, where if you're planning on going viral, you don't understand the meaning of planning or going viral.
kind of missing the mark there, aren't you?
Just calling a spade a spade. How's it going, Gordon?
I'm doing all right, my friend. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good. I'm glad I chose that instrumental version of that song. It made me happy. Welcome everybody to What If We're Right? The number one Canadian podcast as voted for by me earlier today.
I love when you vote.
Want to say hi, of course, to Mike at Pit Lane Parlay at the beginning of race season. You can listen to Pit Lane Parlay on Apple Podcasts and then give those guys whatever kind of a review you think they deserve. There's a whole bunch of stars beside their name. You just go ahead and pick one. And, of course, a big shout-out to Alex and Tom, my two best friends in America and across the Atlantic, starting their new podcast network sort of adventure with some of the greatest cover art I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's true. They're fucking nailing it.
But they host Thor's Kin and a couple other podcasts on Podbean, and they're fantastic and funny. And I actually like their bar fight thing. It's pretty good.
It's
and
a
of
lot
course,
fun.
My friends at the Thanks for Watching podcast, thanks for following me on the Instagram. If you kids want to follow me and Gord's Wacky Adventures on the Instagram, it's Eric and Gord. And on the Twitter, we're Eric_Gord. And on the Facebook, we're Eric and Gord Show. And on the World Wide Web, we are ericandgord.world. And that's a neat little streamlined site. No bullshit website. Just cuts to the chase and tells you everything you need to know about this great podcast. And gives you an opportunity to leave up to a 5-minute voice message if you don't want to call us tonight and be a part of the show. Which you can do right now. 604-655-9630. Because we are live on Spreaker.com. Now, Gordon and everybody else, I know if you go to that website, you're going to be like, oh my God, where's all of Eric's usual shit? Usually he crowds up all the fucking websites with a bunch of his own personal stupid shit. Well, I didn't do that this time. It's just a strictly Eric and Gord website. But if you're missing all that stuff, you can go to ericandshit.design.
Of course.
And you can find Eric and shit there. That's my new personal website.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Hi to Queenie at CQP Moments. Whoever he is, fucking give me his number and I will punch him right in the face. I'm just saying, Queenie, you need some help. I will punch a guy in the face who's ever making you post all that shit.
We find him and take him down.
Exactly. Okay, let's get on with it. anybody who doesn't want to chat and doesn't feel like calling or being a part of the show or going to our website and leaving a voice message, you can always email the show at trumpisasackofshit@outlook.com. Whatever. I don't even care. I'm so done with that whole story. I hope they do vote for him. They fucking deserve him.
That they do.
Whenever I hear anything now, it's kind of like all this news about, like, yeah, it's like someone phoning, like an old friend from high school phones, and he's like, "Hey, Gord, you remember that fat chick in high school? Yeah, she put on some weight." Yeah, good, great.
That's fantastic. Thank you.
Appreciate the call. I'm sick of it. One thing that you are going to absolutely love, because I know you've been very vocal about how much you enjoy No Fault Insurance. And what a great thing that is for your province. Starting next year, BC is switching to No Fault Insurance.
Why? Their insurance companies are, well, BC Insurance is making a fortune as it is. Why would they want to change that up?
They are losing a tremendous amount of money in legal fees, lawyers' costs and stuff, because they have to go to court every time someone gets a nick in their fender, and lawyers are expensive. So they're saying it'll save the average driver up to 20% on their yearly insurance rates. The really funny thing was, it was David Eby announcing it, and he looked, I think he might have been wearing the same suit that he was wearing in 2018 when he announced that BC absolutely wasn't considering going to No Fault Insurance.
Really?
Yeah, it looks like it looks like they just dubbed over the same video. He's like, "We are not even entertaining the notion of No Fault Insurance." And then today he's like, "We're totally doing that. I just lied."
Oh my God.
We are. Suck it, BC. I don't like it. It opens the door to a lot of questions about what happens to pedestrians, because it takes away your right to sue. And I don't like that.
Which is true, but see, the real big issue is the fact that now, because of No Fault Insurance, and I'm not sure how it works this way, but because of No Fault Insurance, basically how it works is, even if you have a good, perfect driving record, your rates will go up because somebody got into an accident.
Yeah.
That's the way it works now in Ontario. So no matter what, your rates go up. For some people, it jumps. Like, I've been watching people posting about this for a couple of years now, and like their rates have gone up. Like, my insurance just went up. I've got I had a speeding ticket 15 years ago. I've never had a car accident. Speeding ticket is the only infraction I've ever had, and my insurance this year has gone up by $350 for the year.
Yeah. It was it was explained that mostly young drivers, new drivers, are going to get fucked. Everybody else will be okay. Yeah. It'll pretty much go down for everyone else. And then, like, new drivers are going to get screwed completely. So that's always fun.
Wow.
I just thought you'd really get a kick out of that. It's a horrible model. I don't like it. And I don't like having a flat rate for an injury. That doesn't make sense to me.
No, again, the whole point of it, the whole point of No Fault Insurance on its core makes no sense. A drunk driver slams into my car, and yet my insurance goes up because of it.
Yeah. Now, in that scenario, if he gets convicted of a crime like drunk driving or whatever, then you're allowed to sue.
Well, yeah, but then again, what's the cost of suing versus how much you actually get? and everything else, and how many years is it going to take to go through the system, be able to do it all?
Yeah, it's going to be a nightmare. And you
Yeah.
don't know what you're going to get for your injury because there's just a flat rate for it now. So if they decide like a broken back is worth $100, then that's what you get.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter how long it takes you to recover or the treatment you need or the prescriptions you need. You get whatever they say you get, and that's the end of the conversation.
Oh my God. Fuck.
Yeah, it's kind of the Canadian way. It's what we did to the veterans too. We took away their pension and we gave them a flat rate and said, "Look, you get this big lump sum, and that's what you get."
Yeah. Sadly.
I don't like it. I don't like the BC government. Well, I that's no secret. We used to talk about that all the time. But lately there's been so much going on south of the border that we just haven't had a chance to bring it home and talk about what's going on at home. So I thought tonight I'd bring it back to the good old days and talk a little bit about what's going on in BC. Pipelines are getting built.
And just in time, because they just had a train derailment in fucking Alberta.
Yeah,
isn't
that funny?
With a bunch of oil on it, and a whole village had to be evacuated. There's a giant fire. Like 12 cars went off the road. Big fire. 31 of the 104 cars derailed, and a dozen caught fire. All filled with crude oil.
And they were all just filled with marshmallows. It doesn't matter what they're filled with. The trains always blow up. They're kind of like a mole man's car on The Simpsons.
It just doesn't matter. Just stops at a stop sign.
Yeah, that's. I think there can't be any misconception anymore in this country that trains are safe. I think that big one in Lake Mégantic, Quebec, should have tipped everybody off, but if not, then there's a whole bunch more since then.
Mm-hmm.
And First Nations groups are being pushed off the land right now, as a matter of fact. RCMP are moving in and just throwing people out. And apparently they've arrested journalists and just, like, stuck them in the back of cop cars without charges. Just so journalists can't see how they're treating these First Nations people. That's, of course, one side of the story, but I don't know.
Tom Luke, God, I hate people's last names. Luki, Quisky, I don't know, whatever. Tom,
close enough.
He's a member of parliament. Yeah, he's a member of the parliament in the area where it happened. He says that to have two major train derailments that are incredibly serious is something that is almost incomprehensible. I'm not a big believer in coincidence, but this seems to be that it's a bit more than just coincidence.
Really?
So he's actually thinking it's something else.
I think it's something else, too. I think it's really horribly managed rail yards with a bunch of overpaid fucking idiots who don't do their jobs, and they don't do the safety precautions on trains that are necessary.
Yep.
And it's an industry that expects something like that to still rely on a fucking handbrake. Why can't we come up with something better than a handbrake for these fucking things? So yeah, it is something more than coincidence. If you think it's some kind of conspiracy, go eat a bullet, because it's just not. We can't even do conspiracies in Canada. We don't even have enough people for a decent conspiracy.
We're too busy getting drunk and high to have a conspiracy.
Yeah, exactly. Fucking arguing about who owns Tim Hortons and where the fuck Harry and Meghan are going to go. Is it my phone? No, it's not my phone that's doing that sound. Yeah, so no, it's not some big. It does seem kind of coincidental in this era of pro pipeline shift that we're going in, but I don't think there's anything conspiracy wise about it. It does help my side look really good though.
Oh, that definitely does.
Which is just a good thing around the world. We can start shipping natural gas. It's not just for oil. I mean, we can start shipping natural gas to Asia. We can start really helping the environment. Which, getting natural gas to Asia gets them off coal, and that helps the environment a lot.
Now, I have something interesting that I was told about. Of course, I haven't actually looked it up to see who was specifically responsible for this. But in Canada, the Parole Board of Canada. So for years, in order to be on the National Parole Board in Canada, you had to have extensive knowledge and experience in the field, lawyers, judges, former cops with other experience, just huge amount of people that have been dealing with these types of people and knows the criminal mind and that sort of thing, and this is kind of what they've been doing their whole lives. Now, right. Apparently all that changed not too long ago. Sometime around, it was either Harper near the end of his term or it was the beginning of Trudeau's, but I think it was Harper who changed it. But basically it's been changed, so now it's run by
ex-Tim Hortons workers.
Oh, even worse. It's now run by whichever political party is in charge of the country at the time. So they're appointed.
Right.
Think about that. People are now being appointed into these positions that might not have any true experience with dealing with criminals.
Oh, I would imagine most of them have zero experience in it.
So, which this, in my opinion, because I had a very big conversation with somebody about this, and they said, well, when I was bitching about that dude in Quebec, I said, like, how do you release a guy who's supposed to be spending his life in jail? How do you release him after only X many years and this whole bullshit? And that's one of the things that came up. It's like, well, you understand that all the people who used to be in charge of the parole boards are not in charge of it anymore. It's not independent. Now it's all done through political party.
Sure.
And
I would imagine it's not like it's probably not a very glamorous job. It's probably not one you want. So they're not going to pick like the dude who's a really top-rated cabinet member. They're going to pick the peon.
Yeah, the guy who's guaranteed. If we give him if we give him a position, then therefore he'll always vote for us. So we'll keep him there.
Yeah, it's and I don't think any governing party is going to really give a shit about who they put in that position. They're not going to put the best man for the job. They're going to put whoever the fuck will take it, basically.
Now, could you imagine if, like, everything was run like that?
Well, it pretty much
we already know what happens. We already know what happens when with companies where, you know, they say, oh no, I'll put instead of I have this applicant who's perfect for the job, they got everything they could ever ask for it, but I'm going to put my cousin in there instead.
Well, that's how the government works, especially federally. That's why you always end up with that big cabinet shift after the first, or shuffle. Sorry, they do their cabinet shuffle after the first, 6 months or whatever. Because they're like, oh, none of these people are good in the positions I put them in. I got to fucking figure this out. It's a ridiculous way to do it. But then again, we're not picking the right leaders to be to be making these decisions to begin with.
That's very true.
If we could get a leader that had just somewhat of a even fucking vague resemblance to integrity and get them to care about their job or care about their country more than holding on to their job, then maybe they would start making decisions that are in the best interest of us as opposed to what's just going to keep them in office the longest. But I don't see that happening any fucking time soon.
You know, I'm reading a little bit about it as we're doing this, and it's insane. they're just talking about like since the thing has changed, since the pro board stuff has changed, which was in around 2000, I guess. Here's some big notable ones that have changed. Larry Takashi, he received 3 concurrent life sentences in 1984 for sexually assaulting 7 women.
I actually think I recognize that name.
That's because he was known as the balaclava rapist.
Oh, right.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that guy.
That's right. He admitted to attacking over 30 women and was suspected by police in 120 attacks. Okay, that was in 97 and all that stuff. Right. In 2003, he was granted parole despite his own admission that he was at risk to reoffend.
Yeah. Are you going to reoffend? Probably. All right. Let's hope you don't.
On you go.
See ya.
and in 2000, that was in 2003. In 2005, it was reported that he had repeatedly violated his parole by drinking, lying to his parole officer, and socializing with sex offenders. And they eventually revoked it in 2013, so it took them that long.
Jesus Christ.
Another great one is Conrad Brozard, who was given a life sentence in 1970 for being convicted of murder. He had a criminal history dating back decades, including multiple convictions for assault, attempted rape, and armed robbery. In February 2002, the parole board granted him day parole. Shortly after his relief, he raped Cecile Clement before stabbing her to death. Jesus Christ.
Oh, crap. That's like this Yahoo that you brought up last week.
Yeah.
The guy who had to get out to... because he jerking off just wasn't doing it for him anymore or whatever, and they let him out. And you didn't tell me the sex worker that he killed was a fucking knockout.
Oh, she was gorgeous. Yeah, I didn't get her picture until I think it was after we talked about it. I saw her picture. Yeah, good look girl.
Fucking amazingly beautiful. But why is a guy like that getting parole? Why is Vince Lee getting fucking day parole? And yet Kelly Ellard couldn't for 20 years.
Yeah.
I don't understand the ones that can and the ones that can't. Like it just I don't know if they're just throwing darts at a board or pulling names out of a hat or what they do, but it makes no sense. But I don't know. Nothing about our prison system makes sense to me. Like you
do know the name?
Like up to 3 years for kicking a dog, but then you get 6 months for raping a kid. I don't understand it.
Do you know the name Eric Norman Fish? Remember that name?
I do. You're going to have to refresh my memory. It sounds familiar.
He was serving a life sentence for a 1984 murder. He was released in 2004 to a halfway house in Vernon, British Columbia. And in 2004, he was charged with the murder of Jeffrey Drake, whose body was found on the shore of Okanagan Lake.
Oh, very lovely.
And then 3 years later, in 2007, he was again charged with the murder of another guy.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
And the 6 weeks that he was at large, no alert was issued by police or the parole board.
That doesn't surprise me in the Okanagan whatsoever. They don't like to rock the boat.
No, they really don't.
And yet when Charles Scott, a very prolific white supremacist, moved here, they fucking made a big deal out of that shit. Everybody knew he was coming.
Yeah.
My name is Jeff.
I have no idea.
I could go over days, but I'm not going to. But yeah, I was stunned.
I don't know what to do. We need to, in this country, just scrap our government and start over again and not vote for the handful of people who just expect to be voted for every goddamn time. We can't be putting, it's the parole board. Come on. These guys, look at all the examples Gord just gave, and that's just 2 or 3 that we know about.
Oh, there was 30. There was 30 on the page alone that I was looking at.
Oh, I don't doubt it. It never seems to end. And why would it? Why would you stop doing anything you do if the Canadian justice system is the only reason to stop? That's not a reason to stop anything.
No. And this is kind of why you got to start thinking that maybe what do they call it when you take matters in your own hands? What is that called?
Vigilantism?
Vigilantism. This is why I'm starting to think that this might be just a better idea. Somebody fuck it, just kill him, because worst case scenario, you're out in 4 years.
Yeah, right?
And you don't have to worry about that guy being out for 4 years. So you weigh the balance.
Now, without legally getting myself into any trouble down the road here, I cannot personally say that I totally agree with everything Gord just said. But
I'm not saying it's a good idea. I'm just saying I understand why somebody would think it would be. That's okay to say, right? That's okay, because I'm not saying it's a good idea. I'm just saying I can understand. That's okay. But I don't know how all that works.
It's we had our vigilantes, right? We had the guys around here that were going around. They were doing their own version of the Catch a Predator.
Yep, that's right.
And they were basically heroes. They did a lot of good. Now, they also got themselves in a lot of trouble. They were pretty smart about it. They weren't really breaking any laws.
No, they were very smart about it until they were eventually forced to shut down, and the public outcry was hugely against it.
But, Gord's not exactly wrong. If we really want to stop the Vince Lees from the world from really re-terrorizing their victims, that's probably not a bad way to go. If it meant the difference between a rapist being close to my daughter or not being close to my daughter, I'd do 4 years. Why not?
Right?
I'd probably out in 18 months with good behavior.
Yeah, absolutely.
And maybe
maybe
that's not a bad way to send a message. I'm not saying we do anything. I'm saying we send a message. The same way I say that maybe it's a good idea that none of us vote for the fucking yahoos that are in Ottawa. If we just didn't vote, they would get the message. Maybe we can say, hey, we don't like your parole board decisions, and we can send that message by making our own parole board decisions when these people get out on their day parole. Maybe we're waiting to give them a ride to wherever they want to go.
That's kind of what I'm thinking.
And maybe they get there and maybe they don't. I can't predict the future.
Again, not condoning, just saying I understand.
Just sending a message.
Just let you know.
I didn't. I got
here.
Wrong.
There we go.
Wrong.
I got two little lighter bit of news. One of them I just found absolutely fascinating. One is just more of, hey, guess you didn't know this. This kind of makes me a little bit more proud of America. Puts them up a little notch. In 2019, Americans visited the library more often than the movies in 2019.
Is that because they made movies free at the library?
Probably. But it's not just movies. It's movies, live sports events, museums, and concerts, and amusement parks and casinos. So they were at, a lot of people were using the library more than the numbers for anything else. So that's actually, I'm well done. America, you're learning to read. That's good. Congratulations.
I don't trust it. The last thing I want running around this world is a bunch of Americans who think they're smart.
Yeah, it's true. But my thing is, they might be at the library, but I bet you 99% of them are still on their phones the whole time. Probably just doing it to get away from their parents for a while.
I just got a weird.
So that was interesting. Which brings me up to the next one. Yeah. Now, speaking of books, Eric, what would you venture? Canada's most borrowed library book.
Canada's most borrowed library book.
Yeah.
Ever?
For 2019.
Most borrowed.
In the biggest library systems in all the top Canada's biggest cities. So they took all the biggest cities in Canada, took all the library books. Okay, whose book was checked out the most?
That would be 50 Shades of Grey, the biography of Justin's beard.
That'll be next year's. No, pardon me. It was Michelle Obama's memoir, Becoming.
She won a fucking Grammy for the audiobook on that.
Yes, she did. So the actual book was checked out of Toronto libraries 5,860 times, while the digital copy was borrowed at least 6,632 times. Now, what's interesting about that number is 6,632. If one more person borrowed it, that's 6633, which is 6 and 6. So
yeah.
I just thought that.
She is like the new Diana. People
pretty much
just love her. I've never really heard her speak. I don't know what her whole deal is.
Oh, she's much like her husband, a very great speaker. She absolutely, I would put her up on the, maybe not quite in the same loft as Princess Diana in the sense of what she's done, but Michelle Obama is she's a very classy, well-spoken woman. Definitely wears her heart on her sleeve to an extent. She deals with some really good topics, a lot of stuff to do with bullying with kids, things like that.
How to bully kids or to not do that?
Well, both. Don't want to offend. She's still liberal, so you don't want to offend anybody.
She does a lot of good stuff on bullying, like how you should do that.
How you should bully them. How to bully and get away with it. It's really funny.
She looks like a bully. I've never heard her speak. I should actually look into her. She's getting very, very popular. And who knows, maybe pretty soon there'll be the conversation of, can a black woman run the White House?
Wrong.
It can happen.
Absolutely.
Never in our lifetime.
I'm so surprised they didn't just call it the Black House while he was in there. That just would have been great.
You know what? We're spending the defense budget on spinny rims, bitches.
That just would have been the best. Best.
Oh, yeah, right? You just yo, fuck now.
Now,
you know what? That actually really impresses me. Just to, I don't want to downplay. That makes me happy because I would have honestly guessed it was like Anne of Green Gables or something fucking stupid. So it does make me happy that Canadians are at least trying to pay attention to something relevant and of value to read, as opposed to it's this hour has 22 minutes retrospective book or fucking red greens, how to keep your marriage together, or some fucking bullshit like that. That's usually the answer to those stupid Canadian questions.
Well, how about the number one book that was rented out of Halifax's biggest library? It's called, I just got to get this out before I forget. I already closed the window down. It's called Man Dog, For Whom the Ball Rolls. It's a children's book.
That absolutely makes total sense.
For whom the ball rolls.
That
I actually heard that.
That is really annoying. Well, Halifax, I don't know. Listen to our show and I won't make fun of you. That's all I can say. No one out east seems to want to listen to us, so until they do, they're just not going to get it.
That's right.
So if you have any friends that live like east of Ontario, Quebec area, please tell them to tune in to Eric and Gord, What If We're Right on all kinds of stations and channels and websites. We are now on Apple Podcasts all the time. We are on Podcast Addict, which is a site that we're on. I don't want to say anything about it because a lot of people listen to us on it. So I won't tell you that it sucks. We are also on, finally, once again, we are on iHeartRadio, now called iHeartMedia, because they don't just do radio. They do all kinds of media. But you can find us on iHeartRadio. And then you can go and give us reviews and ratings on Podchaser or Chartable. If you don't like Apple, there's plenty of places to review and give us stars and give us Instagram likes and Facebook pokes and all that shit. It all counts to making this show better for you guys. And listen to an episode from a year ago and see where we are now. And then you might want to start contributing more because we just get better and better and better.
Damn right we do.
But if you don't start pitching in soon, we're going to go right back to shit, I promise.
And it'll be so bad there won't even be a handbasket involved.
That is not true. That'd be a good way to punish people. Hey, not enough of you are listening to us. We're going to make the show worse.
We're just going to get really drunk and do episodes really hammered, slither our way through it.
You know what? If that wasn't such a big genre, I probably would.
Yeah, I know. There's like thousands of them, though.
Well, it started with that drunk history thing on the fucking Comedy Network.
Yep.
And now there's like a whole bunch of drunk fucking podcasts, which is cool.
Yeah. It's a cute idea. It's just been.
I wouldn't.
It just gets a little frustrating. It just gets a little frustrating. It's just like there's like political podcasting, drunken political podcasting.
Yeah, right. Guess what? It's no different, guys. If I slur a little bit while I'm saying this shit, I'm still saying this shit.
I'm still saying it. It's just going to come out a little more crass.
It's not going to change my opinion if I'm a little more drunk than usual.
Eric, I know how much you are just flat out sick and tired of hearing about all the gun deaths in America. So I'm not going to tell you of the story about a guy who was shot to death. Instead, I'm going to tell you about a man who accidentally killed his neighbor with a crossbow while trying to save him from a dog.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense.
There's this dude being attacked by a dog, and his neighbor, ended up pulling out a crossbow and to shoot at the dog. And they believe that the bolt struck one of the dogs, went through the door, and then fatally struck the neighbor who was attempting to barrack himself from the attack. So a 27-year-old guy is dead because the guy shot a crossbow.
Well, I don't know. I don't even know what to say. At least it wasn't a gun.
Right? I mean, it wasn't a gun. This is in Massachusetts, and
that's what you get.
I just saw that, and I thought that was amazing. So yeah, I'll save you. I'll kill you. Whichever.
Yeah, that dude is pissed right now, right? If there's an afterlife, that guy is fucking choked. Like, dude, what the fuck did you just do?
Not only that, but the guy was a father, and his son was in the house when it happened.
First of all, why do you have a crossbow? Nobody should have a crossbow. Let me just go on record as saying no one should have a crossbow. Never in your life do you need a crossbow, and you're going to kill a neighbor with it. No matter what, eventually one of your neighbors is going to die because you own that fucking thing. Is there an instance in life where anyone said, "Quick, get my crossbow." Like, you don't ever fucking need that crossbow.
No,
you're never going to hear.
Will never.
Oh, thank God you showed up with that crossbow. Has never been said since medieval times.
Well, no, I bet you there's a couple of frat houses that said that before somebody got shot by it.
And even then, in medieval times, they were like, really? You don't, crossbow, really? Like, that guy got made fun of in medieval times.
Oh, yeah.
People are like, why
We
a
got cannons,
crossbow?
you're using a crossbow.
Get a sword, you fucking idiot. They probably said that a lot in medieval times. Like, why can't you just be normal? Who needs a fucking crossbow? But nowadays,
die from scurvy. What are you thinking? You don't die from a crossbow.
don't. It's a stupid fucking invention.
So yeah. No, I meant to talk about this one. I believe it was almost last week now, but we just didn't get a chance on the episode. So a little bit of world news. We all know how much big supporters of the Christian faith Eric and I are, and how much we think that no harm ever comes with dealing with the church. So in Tanzania, 20 people were killed in Tanzania church stampede. So what actually happened is this, again, I don't want to give the guy's name away because he's truly a piece of shit. But he refers to himself as the apostle, and he was giving this giant speech in front of a whole massive crowd of worshipers that was attending a prayer ceremony. And what he had done was, at one point, he had pulled out what he said was holy oil, and he poured a little bit on the ground. And he told everybody in the crowd to touch it with their foot in order to be basically healed. And so there was a massive surge, and a bunch of people got crushed to death. A bunch of people got injured. It was a.
Oh, was that not the funny part?
Well, no, because the funny part is the preacher, right after all this shit happened, he fled the scene and disappeared and was arrested the next day at a port city of Dar es Salaam, trying to flee the entire thing. But they caught him, and he is going to be charged and everything else. He's got to answer to these things. And
Whoa.
Usually a priest will always stand up and be like, whatever. This motherfucker actually tried to run, so.
It was God's will.
God bless him. God bless him.
It was God's will. You can't argue with God's will.
That's right.
God wanted 20 people to die to touch some oil on the floor. What was his? It was holy oil?
Yeah, holy oil. And that's a thing in Christian faith. There's it's basically a blessed oil.
Yeah, no,
like
that's not a thing. Christians,
I'm
just
sure
so you know,
Jesus blessed out oil somewhere.
Yeah, no, Jesus didn't do that before he died. He didn't stop and bless. Like, hey, before I get on the cross, can I just bless some oil so some people could get trampled 2,000 years from now? That didn't happen. He didn't take the time to stop and bless shit before they hung him. He didn't have a lot of time to do that shit. So if someone
oil.
If some Yahoo tells you he's got blessed oil, he doesn't. It's not there. It doesn't exist. He didn't do that. And
it's a symbol of God's grace at work through the faith of the believer.
No, it's just a bunch of bullshit. There's no better way for me to tell you. None of that is true. Here's Trump saying it's wrong.
Wrong.
None of that is true. That stuff doesn't exist. There's no like fucking holy Costco where you can go stock up on this stuff. You know why? Because it doesn't exist.
There is. Oh no! There you can order that if you want to buy it. You can buy it.
Oh, absolutely. If you want to order some holy oil, I've got a stash here that I've been holding on to for a long time. If you want to order it, just get in touch with me at Donald Trump is a sack of shit at Outlook.com. Or you can even do Rose McGowan is stupid at Outlook.com. I will sell you as much holy oil as you can buy. I've got tons right now. And if this runs out, I can always get more. It's no problem.
Hang on.
I'll send you with a piece of the Berlin Wall and some of Michael Jackson's hair.
There's actually two different types of oil. There's there's the oil that the holy, not the holy oil. There's a sacramental oil, which is like holy water, which is basically just something that was blessed by a priest, and then you can buy that. See, but then there's actually the true holy oil, which cannot be sold and is only used for personal use by the priest in anointing of the sick.
It's oil. How do you know if there's holes in it?
Oh, no.
It's not like that Swiss cheese. That's stupid. And come on, you guys, Christians of the world, how is this God's will? Explain it to me how that makes sense. And why that would happen. Why would God just wipe out 20 people that day? He obviously didn't explain it to the priest first, or he wouldn't have ran.
Right? Yeah. Oil is mentioned a bunch of times in the Bible, so that's what it is.
Yeah, no. The Bible, in case you guys didn't know, it's kind of got a start and an end date to it. Those are all stories that happened. It's not a prediction of what's about to happen. It's just telling us what did happen.
That's right.
So,
or what supposedly happened.
There's not a ton of prophecy in there. It's not like, hey, stay tuned, this is what's gonna happen, which is the part you guys seem to get wrong most of the time. There's not another flood coming. It's not all this shit's not like happening. Oh, don't do this or it's gonna happen again. That's not how it works. It's just a fucking book. That, yeah, it happened, and now you all have to fucking, water on the floor and crush 20 people to death? In what part of the world does that make any sense? That's... Like, just use your fucking head before you do any of this stuff. Like, how come after the first, 9 people got crushed to death, people didn't stop and go, whoa, wait a minute. This is probably bad. It doesn't seem very Christian to just trample these motherfuckers for no reason. Does that seem anti-Christian to anybody out there? Maybe? No? All right. Well, let's just keep doing it then. Use your fucking heads.
Eric, you're going to love this. Speaking directly on this topic, there's a guy in the U.S. who wants to sue the NFL for multi-millions of dollars. Because why, you ask? Let me tell you why. Because of the halftime show.
Oh, of course.
Because he wants to sue them because he says that the halftime show, seeing two women scantily clad and doing these sexual movements on television can raise unwanted desires in men, and therefore they should be punished. So again, this is that whole men have no responsibility for their actions. It's always somebody else's fault.
I absolutely concur. I haven't seen Shakira in several years. I didn't notice if she's been around. I didn't know it. I don't follow popular music very closely. I'm still trying to figure out what a fucking Rizzo is. I still haven't figured out a Cardi B. I gotta see what that so it's been a long. Like I got no idea really what's going on in popular music. I think Kanye and Puff Daddy are the same guy. I'm an idiot. So here's what I'm saying. When I saw Shakira at the halftime show, it's the first time basically since that first video she made, that my hips don't lie, whatever bullshit. Yeah, there was definitely some unwanted feelings creeping up there. I promise you. There were some feelings I wasn't expecting. I had some issues dealing with them.
You didn't. You got Kleenex and you were fine.
I'm fully on side with this guy. He is absolutely correct. I was very surprised by by it. Now, and what Gord just said is absolutely right. You go have a shower and you deal with it. You don't sue the NFL. And so what was this guy's premise? So he's going to get all rapey now or something, or?
I'm going to actually get this quote here because I really need to. Oh, it actually doesn't even. He is so provocative to the NFL for endangering his eternal soul. That's what he's that. That's why he's suing them.
Oh, just for having impure thoughts.
Just for having impure thoughts. So
wow.
That's exactly.
Okay. Well.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. Don't forget, he watched it.
Well, of course he did. You're not going to take your eyes off that. Well, like you can't unsee what you've seen, right? So you might as well go through right to the end. I didn't know who was in the halftime show, but prior to the halftime show, so I watched it too. And once I saw it, those thoughts started. There's nothing you can do. They're there.
Oh, by the way, I will let you take Eric. How much do you think he's suing them for?
Well, let me see. The NFL makes an estimated $14 billion a year. I'm going to say he's suing them for $14 billion.
$867 trillion.
Starting to think this guy is not the brightest bulb on the Christmas tree.
Should I give his name out? I'm not sure. Should I?
Absolutely. We should try to have him on the show. $800 trillion?
$876 trillion.
That doesn't exist. There's not 800. What is the basis for the number? If that's a very precise number, I'm sure there's a good reason for it.
I don't have that as of this moment, but the guy's name is Dave Daubenmire, and he is the host of Pass the Salt live webcast.
Oh, of course he is. Why are we not watching this? Why are we sitting here talking instead of watching this guy's Pass the Salt? Sorry, I got to write this down. I'm just writing something else down at the moment. Something that I also wanted to bring up just because I think it's stupid. Sorry, his name's Funky Winkerbean? What?
Dave Daubenmire. Daubenmire.
Daubenmire. That doesn't surprise me at all.
And he's the host of the Pass the Salt live webcast.
Pass the Salt live webcast.
Which he released on YouTube.
Of course he does.
Yes, he does. And the best thing is, by the way, the article that's showing it's the picture of Shakira and J-Lo with both of them with like their asses when they're shaking their hips on the side. So it's just their asses shot. It's like, bam.
Now, I'm assuming he makes somewhere near that $800 trillion mark from his webcast, obviously.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. He must.
And that's why he's suing for that amount. Oh, my good God.
My name is Jeff.
I got to check this thing out.
I have his whole statements here. I think we ought to sue, he said. Would that halftime show, would that have been rated PG? Were there any warnings that your 12-year-old son, whose hormones are just starting to operate, was there any warning that he was going of what he was going to see might cause him to get sexually excited? I think we have to sit down in a courtroom to present this evidence of how whoever put on the halftime show is keeping me from getting into the kingdom of heaven. Could I go into a room and say, viewing what you put on that screen put me in danger of hellfire?
I absolutely need to see this case go forward, and I will support you, Dave, in any way. You have the full support of Eric and Gord to take this as far as you can. Can you spell his last name for me again?
It's DAUB
DAUB
DAUBENMIRE.
MIRE. And if you want to contribute to the Dave Daubenmire, Eric and Gordon support fund, feel free to make a donation here, and we will make sure it gets to Dave Daubenmire. This guy, I need to see this guy go to court. Now I only see do you have a picture of him there?
Yeah, I do.
Is he a guy with a goatee, glasses?
He does. Yeah, he's got goatee glasses.
Looks like an angry Steve Spielberg. Okay. Yeah. He has Coach Dave Daubenmire.
Yeah, Coach Dave Live is the thing that I saw that just came up here.
Yeah.
To finish off his statement, though, he says, so if he went into court and he said, viewing what you put on that screen put me in danger of hellfire, the court could say, that doesn't apply here because the right to produce porn overrides your right not to watch it. Yeah, well, you didn't tell me I was going to watch it. You just brought it into my living room. You didn't tell me there was going to be crotch shots. That's discriminatory against the value I have in my house. You just can't do that. I want to sue them for about $867 trillion.
Here you go, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to give you a little taste of Dave Daubenmire here talking about the NFL.
I think we ought to sue. Sid, what do you mean? I think we ought to sue. That's what I think. Hey, folks.
He's just taking.
Were there any warnings before that Super Bowl halftime show? Would that halftime show, would that have been rated PG? Were there any warnings that your 12-year-old young son whose hormones are just getting ready, just starting to operate, was there any warning that what he's going to see might cause him to get sexually excited? So I think we ought to go sit down in the courtroom and present this as evidence. And how the whoever is keeping me from getting into the kingdom of heaven.
Whoever is keeping me from... Yes, it would be rated PG, Dave, or else it wouldn't have been shown on television. They have a delay for stuff like that now, thanks to Janet Jackson.
Every live sporting event is a PG a thing because it's live.
Yeah, exactly. But even if there's about a 7-second delay just in case something happens that's unexpected, a Nipplegate scenario again. So yes, it is PG. And Dave, I'm not sure if you've had a talk with your 12-year-old son recently, but I guarantee you he gets sexually aroused by a fucking dish towel. Everything is sexually aroused. You can't blame the NFL for your 12-year-old being horny. That's what 12-year-old kids do.
I mean, I tell you, I've been aroused by a good strong breeze, so, you know.
Right? But, Dave, I fully support you in your cause. I'm going to just make sure I don't forget your name here. And he has, check him out. He's got tons of videos on the YouTube, and this is a lot of free advertising for you there, Dave. We're going to have the Daubenmire Minute on our show from now on. That's going to be a thing because you have, I particularly want to hear this little rant about how bigot is the new N-word.
No.
I
fucking hate this prick already.
I also I like we gotta cut he's gonna cut Donald Trump some slack for trying to decriminalize homosexuality. He's gonna let Trump get away with that.
Well, that's mighty nice of him. It's very Christian of him.
That's mighty Christian of you, Dave. Dave's got some good ideas here. And I can't wait to keep listening. He's got things that range from a minute up to over an hour. 1,492 videos Coach Dave has. That's CoachDave.tv. There's a plug, Dave, from the biggest Canadian podcast on the air at the moment on my computer.
Oh, God, I want to move away from this right now.
Yeah, Coach Dave, you're an idiot. Hey, if you want to support Coach Dave and his efforts and help me and Gord to support Coach Dave in any way that we can, why don't you go to ericandgord.world, have a look at the sexy Eric and Gord What If We're Right t-shirts that are available for you for the low price of $27. And you can pay for those via PayPal, or we can even just do an e-transfer if you're comfortable with that. You can get, they come men's, ladies, in 6 different sizes, in about 10 different colors. There's 2 different styles. This is the ultimate Valentine's gift. Your lady will love it, I promise. If not, Dave Daubenmire will give you a full refund on your purchase. So go to ericandgord.world and check out our new t-shirts, and you can buy as many or as few as you like, and I can have them shipped to you in just about a week. They are really, really nice. They are very good quality, and if you're a fan of the show, I would say check them out. Try to buy one. That's all I have to say about that.
Oh, my God.
That's not a joke, ladies and gentlemen. We have kick-ass t-shirts, and you can buy them. ericandgord.world. Have a look at them. And see if you want one.
By the way, Eric, and listeners and watchers that follow our podcast, just so you know, I will be having an updated picture within the coming couple of weeks of me wearing said t-shirts.
Very cool.
So, yeah, because I'm not getting one for free. I'm actually going to I'm going to actually order one specifically. I'm actually going to order one from us. So
I can't even afford one. Or else I'd have a bunch. But I got to make a whole new line of Eric and Gord and Dave Daubenmire t-shirts anyway.
Yes.
I would like to make a bunch of t-shirts with a bunch of different Eric and Gords on them. That would be kind of cool. We'll have a new one of those for you guys on the next episode, too. It's been a while since we featured an Eric and Gord from around the country, and I've found one that I like. So I'll have that ready for you guys tomorrow.
Now, we have, because we knew this was coming. We called it. We knew it. Everybody knew it. That's not like that we weren't revolutionizing anything or foreseeing any bit of the future. But so Trump has, gone off the deep end with his impeachment acquittal. And he did over an hour-long speech about it during at the White House East Room during what the fuck was he doing? I don't even know what the fuck he was doing here. He was doing something in the East Wing. There's about 100 people there. And now, unlike Bill Clinton, when he was impeached and then let go of it, he said, it's called the Rose Garden Address when he did it. He said, "No, I want to say again to the American people of how profoundly sorry I am for what I said and did to trigger these events and the great burden that they have imposed on Congress and on the American people." So, I mean, he literally just, actually...
He also wasn't seeking re-election. So,
no.
So
that's true.
He didn't.
Trump, on the other hand...
he didn't have to come marching out in a Trump and stupor and talk shit for an hour.
No, Trump stood up and says, "It was evil, it was corrupt, it was dirty cops. This should never, ever happen to another president, ever. We all went through hell unfairly. I did nothing wrong." Despite the fact that the reason he got off is because he wouldn't allow two major groups to fucking actually get up to the stand to speak. It's the whole reason none of this ever went through. But yeah, but the only apology he did was he apologized to his family. What the fuck was it? He did say something really nice. It was so typical fucking Trump. I had it right here. It's just for some reason not here anymore. But yeah, basically there we go. So his only contribution to, or his only apology was when he was to his family, which was he apologized to his family for having them go through a phony rotten deal.
Well, why don't you apologize to your family for that time you paid off the porn star to not talk about your affair? Apologize to your family for when you said you can just grab women by the pussy and they'll still vote for you. There's so much you could apologize to your family for. And I love how he just can't fucking see reality with a pair of binoculars. Like, he genuinely doesn't think he's ever done anything wrong. It's oh god. And like I said the other night when I was walking around old school style, this is going to go straight to his head. He's going to come out just thinking he's 10 feet tall and made of steel now because he thinks he got away with. He knows he got away with something. He knows he did stuff wrong. He knows what a shady motherfucker he is.
Mm-hmm.
He's never been a good guy. Everybody knows he's not a good guy. I don't know. Is everyone just afraid of him? Is that what this is about? People are scared of what's going to happen if they don't just do whatever the fuck he wants?
They know that as soon as anybody says anything that's not Trump, you're God, you're amazing, he fires them on the spot and then publicly humiliates them. And publicly demeans them. He does that to every single person who has turned on him in any sort of way in the slightest.
But is public humiliation really that much of a deterrent nowadays? Like,
on paper. Think about this on paper. I worked for the White House and I got fired. How come you don't work there anymore? Well, here's the quote. You know what I mean? Like, on paper, it just sounds really bad that, Trump would literally probably say that, it's treason what this fucking guy did, even though the guy just said, yeah, Trump actually does blow his nose. It happens.
We live in a world where people love going on fucking America's Got Talent and look like idiots. Nobody cares about being publicly humiliated anymore. It's a pastime now. We do it for fun. I don't think it's that big of a deterrent. What are you afraid of? You might lose your job. Big deal. You'll get another job. Stand up to this guy. He's an idiot, and he's destroying your fucking country. And I'm nervous that because our idiot, for some reason, keeps fucking cowtailing your idiot, you're going to drag us down with you. And I don't want that. So stop it. Stand up to him. Mitt Romney stood up to him. He's going to fucking go down hard for what he did, but at least the dude's got balls.
Trump also, this is really bad. He did the National Prayer Breakfast in Washington. And what really made this bad was that, before he got up and did a speech, there was a whole bunch of series of scripture quoting speeches, including a keynote address by Arthur Brooks, a Harvard professor and president of a conservative think tank, who bemoaned a crisis of contempt and polarization in the nation and urged those who gather to love your enemies. Trump gets up, takes the mic and says, I don't know if I agree with you. I don't like people who use their faith as justification for what they know is wrong.
No, you can see his whole face during that whole fucking breakfast. It's like a dog trying to do math. It's fucking... He doesn't understand what's going on around him, and then he just, I don't think I like that. That's illegal now. No, Trump, you can't do that. Yeah, kid. I'm giving Rush Limbaugh the Medal of Honor. What? Are you just fucking insane? Fuck. What do you, like I said, it's just fucking, I don't even care about it anymore. Just don't drag my country down with yours.
Now, a couple of hours ago, this got released, is that Trump said on Thursday, actually this was Thursday, that the U.S. at his direction had conducted a counterterrorism operation in Yemen that killed Qasim al-Rimi, an al-Qaeda leader who claimed responsibility for last year's deadly shooting at the Naval Air Station Pensacola.
Yeah, I have no way of vetting any of these stories at the moment.
No, this is off the Associated Press, just saying directly, but it's actually listed all over a whole bunch of other, BBC's got it and a bunch of other main ones. But basically what it is, this guy was killed on a U.S. airstrike. Trump's claiming responsibility for organizing it, saying we will continue to protect the American people by tracking down and eliminating terrorists who seek to do us harm. So Trump is literally now going after anybody who has fucked with anybody in America. He is directly after them. You claim responsibility for fucking America, he will kill you.
Yeah.
Remember, folks, remember what that means for anybody who disagrees with him now.
That's basically the way you're going. And
Yeah.
for the next 4 years, he's just going to fucking wipe people out. And that's great. But what does that do for your country after he's gone? He's just, he's got no sense of the fact that the world has to carry on post-Trump.
No, because I actually I don't think. I don't know, for something. I said this at the beginning. I said that as soon as he got elected, I said Trump is going to do everything in his power to ensure that he doesn't ever have to leave office.
Yeah, but he has to leave office. That's the fucking whole premise of their system, their democratic system. You leave. You only get 2 terms, and then you're done. You don't get to come back.
I don't know.
And I guarantee in this term coming up, he's going to do all kinds of impeachable shit now.
Well, he also stated during that thing that he's guaranteeing there's going to be another impeachment against them. He's already openly predicting it. We'll probably have to go through this again, but it won't matter. We'll get through it again.
Yeah. You know what that is him saying? I'm going to do some fucking illegal shit.
Yeah.
And they're already saying possibly his son is prepping to run when he can't run anymore, which is after this term. He can't run again. So maybe he'll get Junior to fill in for him, and then we can have 8 years of Donald Jr. instead, which is the exact same fucking thing.
Yep.
We just have to not pay attention to anything going on in that fucking country for the rest of my life. Even though I'm planning on going there like next month. But that's only just because I want to see America one last time before it's gone.
Before it's gone.
He's going to fucking destroy it. And
he's going to put a massive wall around it. He's going to turn it into the ultimate compound.
Yeah, fuck, his first wall's already fallen down.
So the next one.
Big idiot. Your wall sucks. What a shock that wasn't built right.
I know.
And no one's really even paying attention to it now because they know it's just number one, it's a fence, not a wall, and it keeps falling down. So let's maybe focus on getting the kids at the border out of cages and back to their parents. Let's do some of that right now instead of fucking all this bullshit. And Democrats, same thing. The Democrats have to just fucking smarten up. It's been a constant just fucking witch hunt. Like, they spent something like $300 million on this impeachment hearing. And that's a lot of time and money you could have spent on, like, passing a bill that did some good for your fucking country instead of wasting all this time when everyone knew it was a waste of time. That's a tremendous expense and a tremendous amount of time that could have been devoted to just making your country better instead of just trying to fucking prove Trump wrong.
Yeah, you ain't lying.
You're not going to win right now. Maybe after the election, if you get some more control in the Senate or in Congress or whatever. But right now, you're not getting anything. And this has been for fucking 4 years now. It's been, oh, we're going to get Trump. We're going to get him on this. No, you're not. We're going to get him on this. No, you're not. Just stop it. Go run your fucking country.
Yep. The funny thing is I would bet. I think I'd bet this. I might have to put more thought into this, but I'll say it anyways. I bet you that if
it's not Eric and Gord, what if we thought about what we said?
No. Well, I'm just trying to think about how positive of a statement I'm about to make. But I don't think Trump would be as bad as he is if the Democrats weren't so against him.
I think you're probably onto something there.
Like, I bet the reason, like, the main reason why he's so gung-ho and so far against it is simply because you're against me. Let me show you what I can do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where if they were more treated him like he was any other president that got elected and the party lost, and he was just another president that was in, let them sort of run their course. I just don't think he would be as bad. Like, I don't think he would go after, like the national monuments by trying to eliminate national monuments such as Utah by saying, oh, here, fuck it, 85% of Big Ear's national monument, fuck it, here's 85% of that's now good to go for mining, deforestation, whatever you want to do to it.
I honestly think they should have treated him the same way. If you've ever worked in retail and you work with one of those companies that hires these special needs workers to be greeters or sweep the floor or whatever, and they do a shit fucking job, but they're eager as hell to work, but they don't, they're not good at it. Not all of them, but for the most part. And you just walk by and they go, yeah, I'm sweeping the floor. And you go, yeah, you did a hell of a job sweeping the floor there, buddy.
Right.
That's what we should have been doing with Trump the whole time. Oh, you're doing some real good president in there, Trump. You just keep it up. And he would have just sat behind his desk playing president and not gone all fucking batshit crazy.
Yeah.
Everybody antagonized him.
He makes a phone call to a world leader. It's actually just John in his basement,
Oh, yeah. They could have done that, too. They just reroute the phone. Like, just the president's direct phone line goes to someone in the next room who answers and pretends to be he could, yes, this is Vladimir Putin. Putin, this is Trump. You're going down. Okay, well, we'll back off then. Bye, Mr. President. And then, but he spends 4 years not actually talking to anybody around the world at all. And they just tell him, fucking just pump in pictures of, look, makes fucking Photoshop some pictures of Iranian guys carrying American flags and be like, hey, Mr. Trump, see, you won. Good job, President. And he'll go, yeah, I won.
I bet you it would have been that easy.
Oh, yeah, just fucking tell him he's winning and just let someone real run the country. Why are you fucking even... Oh, God, damn it. People actually think this guy is doing good for their country, which maybe he is. Maybe I'm way off base and he'll prove me really wrong. I don't think so. I mean, I know he did some good things, rounding up pedophiles and whatever. He's also done a tremendous amount of bullshit and bad stuff. Where did you go? You went away again, I know, because I got that fucking fuzz.
I'm listening because I'm sorry, I'm listening. I'm just, I literally can't argue anything with what you're saying. It's just...
That would have been the good plan right from the beginning.
Should have done it.
Reroute his phone. Don't even give him Twitter. Just make up a fake website. Be like, oh yeah, everybody's really loving your tweets. I could do that. I could set him up with a fake Twitter right now. And then...
Oh, it'd be amazing if that actually happened. It'd be so good.
That's what we should have done instead of encouraging him by, like you said, going after him like this. I think you're absolutely right. I think that's a brilliant thing. Just leave him alone. Don't fucking encourage him. Because he's going to be fucking bad this year. He is going to do... Pelosi's going to get all kinds of impeachable shit done to her in the next 2 months. She's going to want to quit her job now.
Yep. It's and he is going to be absolutely relentless against her. He's already been naming her directly, like, and everything else, saying that she's a fucking terrorist of the country. Oh, well, he'll be all over.
Of course. And you had to see that coming.
Yeah.
If you didn't see that coming, you should be friends with fucking Dave Daubenmire.
That's genius.
I don't know. What am I looking up here? I had something I wanted to look up. I don't know. I'm not talking about Trump tomorrow. That's my rule. No. Tomorrow is no Trump day.
I'm more than fine. That's why I said I had to get it all out now. Because I just don't want to have to talk about it later.
And I would like this to be a no-Trump year, but we're not getting that because Republican senators are a bunch of fucking pansies. And this is why we can't have appointed officials. We need elected officials in everything. And we need term limits on people. So they have to leave and they have to work. They do the best for their country and not the best for themselves. This is such a great example of what happens when you appoint a bunch of people into a cushy job and they don't want to lose it.
Mm-hmm.
It's
fucking right.
They're the parole board of Canada of the U.S. And this is what's happening. We let out a bunch of maniac killers, and they just let out one. And the death toll is going to be fucking monumental in the next 4 years. That's all I have to say about that. I'm going to get
terrified for what's going to happen in the future.
Yeah, it is terrifying. I am. There's the Batman music. I am very scared. I really am. I'm genuinely frightened about what's coming up in the next 4 years. It's not going to get any better. I'll tell you that much.
No, it's not.
That much I can predict. That's why you guys have to really help 2020 be the year that we're right. We got to start making some money off this shit so that we can survive and help you guys. So like us on the Instagram, hashtag Eric and Gord, hashtag the easiest thing in the world. If you guys don't know what the easiest thing in the world initiative is, it's something that Trump could never comprehend. And what it is go about your day as you normally would and just don't be like fucking Trump. No, that's not what it is. What the easiest thing in the world is an initiative Gord and I started right around the time we started this show, which is just about 2 years ago. 2 years ago next month, in fact. And all you have to do to be a part of this is go about your day as you normally would. Don't change anything about your normal routine. Just every time you have occasion to interact with somebody, just be nice to them. Just see how that works out for you. And then hashtag easiest thing in the world on Instagram or the Twitter or wherever you like. And tell me and Gord what you did to be a part of the easiest thing in the world initiative. And if this thing catches on and everyone's just a little nicer to each other every day, you would be amazed how different things could be. And if you hashtag easiest thing in the world, tell us what you did to be a part of this. We'll send you a free t-shirt. And Eric and Gord, what if we're right t-shirt. And that's a pretty cool fucking t-shirt. I think it's very important. I don't often show this side of myself on the show as much as I used to because America rotted my brain and I can't. But I genuinely think that one of the first solutions to all this shit that Gordon and I bitch about is just starting to be decent to each other again. Just basic human fucking decency when we meet each other on the street, friends or strangers or people we don't like, just fucking be nice to each other. It's literally the easiest thing in the world, and it does change things. It's people are mirrors for the most part. They give you back exactly what you give them, and it's contagious, and you'll find your whole day, everything about your day changes. Karma starts going your way. Everything feels a little bit better. And then we don't end up with Trumps and people that want to be like Trump and people that support Trump. If you do this, people's minds will start unclouding from whatever fucking Jedi hypnosis he's used on the world, and they'll start realizing that this is not the world we want to live in. These are not the kind of leaders we want to follow. We could just be nice to each other, and we can stop lying to each other, and we can stop making up fake viruses, and we can stop all the bullshit and get down to living happy lives and raising our children to be smart and happy and productive. Because that's not the direction we're going in now. We're going to kill all the people that make the craziest motherfuckers in the Middle East feel secure until they feel so insecure they just start firing bombs at us nonstop. And we're all going to fucking die. This man is going to get us all killed. So I don't want that. I don't know if you do, but stopping it is literally the easiest thing in the world. That's my speech for the day.
It's true. To put it even more simply, if you've ever been through Tim Hortons and if you've ever heard of the thing, the pay it forward, which is where you pay for the dude's coffee behind you, you have no idea the impact that can make of just doing that one simple little nice act. And it ended up, I remember I used to do that just for kicks. Every once in a while, I just, like one time I ordered breakfast and I knew it was going to take forever for the food to come out. So I paid for the dude's coffee behind me. And the guy followed me to my fucking work just to thank me. He's like, why'd you do that? I'm like, why not, man? I made you wait longer than you should have. I paid for your coffee. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
No big deal. And dude was ecstatic. And he's like, thanks, man. I really appreciate it. There's really nice people around the world. I'm like, yeah, don't worry about it. Fuck. Just remember to do it to somebody else.
And you don't have to do, that's a great thing, but you don't have to pay anything. It doesn't have to cost you anything to be nice. You can just be nice.
Be nice. Yeah. But it's, hold the door open for somebody. When you go into a mall, don't just walk in front of somebody and fucking slam the door in their face. Hold the door open for somebody. Something simple. Somebody drops something, hand it back to them.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Just pocket it. Don't just pocket it. Hand it back to them. And don't mock them for dropping it.
If someone doesn't, at first glance, just happen to know what your gender pronoun is, don't be shitty about it. Yeah. Just fucking accept that that's not a fucking thing that matters and go about your day.
Yeah. No big deal. Nothing about your life had changed. It's okay. You'll be fine.
There are big deals in life. I'm not saying there aren't big deals, and I'm not saying you're going to be able to be nice to everybody all the time. If people are dicks to you, be dicks to them. I'm fine with that. But just try it first and see how it goes. Try to be as un-Trump-like as possible. And then we'll give you a shirt. Who doesn't want a shirt? J-Lo and Shakira.
No, I don't want them to have a shirt. They'll cover up.
People are fucking hilarious. I don't know where to go with that. I'm done. I got nothing more to bitch about tonight.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm good.
That was a fun, intelligent, concise little episode right there.
We actually stayed on topic for almost everything.
We did, almost. I missed one. I wanted to talk a little bit about Uber. Just because I want to say, way to go, BC courts, for upholding the decision and telling taxi drivers to go pound salt. Once again, they're going to keep fighting, and you just got to keep telling them, fucking go drive for Uber and quit wasting court time. But it was really good. They got basically just laughed out of court today. It's like, guys, give up. Uber is here to stay, and I don't think you're losing a lot of business to them. So quit whining.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm not going to fire up a whole new topic an hour and a half in. I can save that for tomorrow, where I want to get back on the Maps podcast. I am trying to locate them and expose them, figure out who they are and where they're podcasting from, and wipe them off the face of the fucking earth, along with incels and every other fucking deviant piece of shit. And this is where things get real murky right now with the trans community and the LGBT community, that these sick motherfuckers think they deserve to be a part of that. Gordon and I kind of said this is where it's leaning, and everybody kind of joked, oh, what comes next? Fucking bestiality and all that. Well, yeah, here we are. Now it's here. So, that's what's happening, and we got to fucking deal with it. I am not going to allow it to be LGTB fucking P for pedophile. That's not a thing that I'm marching in a parade for.
No, not at all. As soon as that gets accepted with them, that is it.
So
that's it.
I hopefully will have some more information for you guys, and if I do, it'll be on our website, and it will also be talked about tomorrow night on this show. And I want to talk about the new Batman, because he pisses me right the fuck off.
And I don't, but we will anyways.
Yeah. I don't understand why Robert Pattinson has to exist. But that's for tomorrow. Until then, ladies and gentlemen, roughly 23 hours from now, we're going to be back to do this for you. In the meantime, hashtag easiest thing in the world. Take care of each other.
Don't own a crossbow.
Yes!
You pointed at a fucking pedophile.
Point it at Dave Daubenmire.
Or him too. I'm fine with that. Fuck.
I love you, Dave.
I'd say suck a dick, Dave, but don't. You'll suck a kid, so I don't.
Oh.
Wrong.
I'm going to start some music and play us out. What do I want to play us out with? I'm going to go with... How about this one? I don't even know what this is. Oh, no, that's stupid. Never mind. Good night, everybody.
Yeah.
What's this?